Hello friends, myself Shriram Korde. So we are studying 2D arrays. Now we would like to study how do you make use of pointer, and then using that pointer notation, how can I print the contents of the 2D array. So let's get going. So here what I have done is I have already used the previous file where we have a 4 by 3 array and it has been initialized to some number, say 1, 2, 3 till 12. Okay. Then we have I and j, and then you can print this array using the loop which we have already done. So let me just run this file, and here you can see the output comes properly and you can see the content of the array. Okay, now I don't want to print it directly like this, but I would like to use a pointer. So how do I basically go ahead and do it? So now we know that you can have a pointer to a variable which we have done earlier. Then we essentially use the pointer concept when we were understanding 1D array. So now with respect to the 2D array, what essentially we are doing is we have this type of thing which we have drawn earlier, and let me just show you that, or let me just bring that slide here so that we understand it properly. So here you can see this was the slide, or this was the thing which I showed you. That means here you will see this is the 0th row, there is the first row, there is the second row, there is the third row. That means if I am able to have a pointer which will basically be a pointer to this particular array, then my job is done. Okay, and if I tell that okay, the width of this particular thing is say here 0, 1, 2, that means it's 3. So if I'm able to do, then my job is done, and then I can very easily use it as a subscript. So better to do it rather than telling you, because otherwise it will become little difficult. So let's now have a pointer, and now the way in which you can have the pointer is like this. So this is a pointer to an array. So you basically are going to say okay, this is ptr or pa, you can just say pa, and then you will tell okay, basically it's a array of pointer to 4 ints. Okay, so that is what basically we are doing. It's a array of pointer to 4 to here n int, so here it is 4, or sorry, it's 3. Okay, to 3 ints. So this is 3, not 4. Okay, because here it is 3. Okay, so now if I can do this, my job is done. Okay, now I can use this and I initialize it. So what I can do is PA is equal to ARR. That means now I am giving this starting address of that 00 essentially to this PA. Okay, and now I can print this particular, I can access this array using PA. Okay, and here this is very important. It's an array of pointer to 3 ints. That is what I'm doing. Okay, and I'm not getting into too much of pointer arithmetic. The reason is because C provides a simpler way to access it without going into too much of details. And if I just use int star p and then I can do lot of jugglery. So that's not the intention here. We should be able to do it in a very easy way. So the way in which I am printing it here, ARR of ij, I can have here percentage d here, one more, and then I can print here PA. This is what we have done, and I can use ij. You can always do arithmetic here, pointer arithmetic, and print it, but that's not the intention here. Okay, so let's now run this. So let me just close this and run this. So now you can see I'm able to print the array. So here we are able to see this. Yeah, so 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 6 6 whatever. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, then 10 11 12. Okay, so that's the way typically you will have this one. Okay, so I can right now remove this because now we know that I can print it using array. So let me just get rid of this and print it. Yeah, so now I can very easily print, and you can see the way in which I accessed it. So essentially what I have done is it's an array of pointer to 3 ints, and what I do is I am basically accessing it like this. So here p of 0, and then j will increment like 0 1 2 3, then you will have I will be 1, then once again j will be 0, 1, 2, 3. Like that you are able to access it using this notation and this particular thing where we have used array of pointer to 3 ends. Okay. Now if I am able to do this, then why don't I basically send this particular array to another function and then print it. Okay, so let me just copy it. Okay, then we can have our own function here. So let us say I'll call this function as my print. We'll put properly whatever we require here, and then I will write my function here void my print, and then here what I require is I can have this syntax. That means I can have the array of pointer to 3 ends. I can do that using this. So let's try to do that. So here you can have int star pa, and then I can give the this one. Okay, so star pa I will do, and then I know that it's 3. Then here I need to provide with 2 dimensions. So here int n and say m. Okay, now here I will copy this. Okay, now we don't want to print this thing here. Okay, so this particular thing is not required now as part of this file, and this particular thing can go away from here, and we can simply paste it here, and we can have local variables as int I comma j. Now I can call this function myPrint, and I can pass this arr. Then number of rows are 4, number of columns are 3. That's a dimension. Yeah, I think it should be good enough. So let's now run this. Yeah, so you are able to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12. So you can see this, I am using it in a subscripted way. Okay, now I can still do it in a still simpler way. Let us say that we have here my print. Now I can have say another function. Let me just do that. Say my print 2. I'm just doing it another function. You can also use this. Say I just use this p here for the time being, and then you can always use here 3. Okay, because here I'm telling number of columns, and then obviously integer n and integer m. Okay, now I can code this function directly. I can call this function myprint2. Again here you need to send arr 4 rows and 3 columns, and now I can have this function myprint2. Let me just copy this. This is a myprint2 function, and now I don't require this, but I can simply use okay. Yes, so I think we are done. Again, this is a very simple way. You simply just provide with another here what we have done is we instead of this array of integer, you basically you know that now here it is the compiler which will take care of that. Why? Because compiler has that ability. So let me just run this now. Yeah, you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, second time it has come. Why? Because we called myprint2. Okay, and that's why it is able to print. So the important learning is what now? So important learning is using the pointer. Either you can use a pointer to an integer of whatever size depending on the column, or a simpler way is you simply know, now this compiler knows this. What I have done in my print is I simply have sent the base address of the array and then I have told number of rows and number of columns, and in the myprint2, which is the easiest way, this is the easiest way I feel, where without using too much of pointer notations and things like that we can do. Here automatically compiler will take care, it will basically, in a way it is creating array of basically it is creating an pointer to an array of integers. So essentially it is happening the same thing, but we don't need to use this, even this syntax now. We can simply have this p with a empty bracket, and then you can just proceed and you can print the this one. Okay, so that's the way typically you can do the things, and without having much of trouble doing a lot of pointer arithmetics and things like that. Why I am telling you and why I am teaching you all this is because many times people get confused with respect to using it with pointers and all that, and then they basically can't work properly, and then they end up in trouble. Okay, that's why here this is the simplest way to basically do the things. Yeah. So let me run this now. Yeah, so it has come correctly, and you can see the second time, and then it is used using my print2. I hope you like this thing, because here without doing too much of pointer arithmetic and things like that, we could solve the issue without having too much of trouble, and peacefully you can pass the array to another function, and then you can do any other jugglery, you can print, or in case you want to do any further operations, you can always do it. Thank you.